I can't do it. We'll do it live.
Okay.
No. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks. 5, 4, 3. That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks again for watching. We'll leave you with Sting and a cut off his new album. Take it away.
Good evening, and welcome to the first ever pro wrestling debate sponsored by the Universal Wrestling Podcast. My name is Nick Dieterding. I'm one of your moderators. Keith, how the hell are you, sir? This is really fucking loud. Give me a second. Can't hear myself.
Listen, this sounded perfect in my ears and made me really feel like I was in the environment. I'm doing great,
good, man.
bud. How you doing?
Good, man. Good. So we did it. It's the Universal Wrestling Podcast debate. Let's talk about the rules before we bring in the candidates. Rules are pretty simple. One-on-one, you will discuss a topic, but there is a twist, Keith. One candidate will be for a topic, and one will be against. So let's do it. Let's bring in the candidates. You ready?
Oh, I am. I've been ready.
Good evening. Gentlemen, how are you?
Good,
Howdy.
good.
Great.
Howdy.
Gonna fix you guys real quick. We're still kind of new to this. Excellent.
Great.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today, like I said, is the Universal Wrestling Podcast debate. Each candidate will go one-on-one with someone else. Let's start off with Kyle. Kyle, why should you be the winner of this debate?
Why should I? Like, what am I going to do if I win?
Yeah.
No homework. Pizza for lunch every day. And
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And hail Satan.
And the debate there, he wins.
Justin, how are you, sir? Give us the reason why you're going to win tonight's debate. Oh, I think you're muted, bud.
Bud.
It's probably from
Well, there we go. I am doing fantastic. I appreciate you gentlemen having me on here.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to win this debate because I like to rant and I like to debate. So
I love it. That's why I had to get you on. One of our new friends, Keith Pro, we did his show. What was that, last night, 2 nights ago? I forget.
2 nights ago, we had a hell of a time on Tuesday.
Yeah, really fun. Pro, what's up, dude? How are you? And give us the answer. Why should you win tonight's debate?
Well, first of all, I'm doing great. Doing great. And the reason why I think I should win is, for one, I like to argue with people about certain points that, I'm passionate about. And for two, I heard that there was a Disney trip involved if I won. So
there you go, Keith. You and him with Capri Suns all day, baby.
You know it.
And
Not
the
a
man,
sponsor, but they should be.
yes, sir. And the man of all debates from Circle of Debate, your boy Ivan. Ivan, what's good, man? How are you?
What is good? Thank you so much for having me on, man. I'm honored and privileged finally to be here on the Universal Wrestling Podcast YouTube channel. But yes, I mean, come on, what is it without Circle Debate while having a debate?
I had to get
why I am here for a
Yes.
reason. Because when I heard it called debate, you're calling us Circle of Debate. It
Seems
is
a little
why
unfair.
I will win tonight.
My
kind of
man.
at a disadvantage. We're kind of a disadvantage because he has debate in his name. How are we going to win this?
Yeah.
You might as well just leave now.
Well, Keith, I think we should get to it. What do you think?
I'm Yes, absolutely. I've been ready. I've been ready since like noon.
All right.
Hyped.
The first topic will be for nothing. I don't know what I was going to say, but the first topic.
Oh yes, I'm good at nothing.
Yes, Kyle and Justin. One or two. Who wants to go first?
Justin can go first.
Justin, you will go first. So that means you're going to be against this topic, and Kyle, you will be for this topic. You guys ready?
Been ready.
All right. Austin Theory's failed Money in the Bank cash in. Justin, you get to go first. Let's hear it.
So I still have so many things to say about Theory's failed cash in. The guy had so much potential to be a world champion, and he wasted it on a mid-card title. And I know, like, it's the only title on the show. And that's what really sucks about it, because that's what, to me, is the issue here, is Theory had no other choice. And that's what really, really sucks. The guy goes out there and tries to justify a failed cash-in by just literally going, hey, I was stupid enough to waste it on a mid-card title. Like, he says it's the only title. He says it's the title that means a lot right now. Of course it only means a lot because Roman's holding the two titles hostage right now. Like, even after Monday Night Raw, he came off, he's supposed to have this brand new attitude to him, but all he did was chicken out and go back to old Theory. That was really all it felt like to me. Like, it was like you started to do something with him, and then you just went right backwards, and it was really, really disappointing. Like, it just really sucks that he had to waste Money in the Bank when he had all the opportunity to, when he literally could have just saved it for Roman getting the crap beat out of him and just sliding in there and getting the job done. Like, anything. Theory has a huge, bright future ahead of himself, and this just feels like he stubbed his toe on the leg of a table right now, and it really, really sucks that it happened.
Kyle, let's hear it, brother.
Well, the world title scene, first of all, right now is very cluttered. Obviously, got Roman at the top, and nobody thought Theory was ever going to be Roman, so that wasn't even an option. But you also got the potential Sammy storyline. You got the bloodline. You got Cody Rhodes potentially coming back. You got The Rock. You got Kevin Owens. You got Sheamus, Drew McIntyre. Theory is like 10th down the totem pole of potential guys to beat Roman. So, if not Roman, might as well elevate another title that's on the brand, which is what the cash-in did. It made the United States Championship feel important, like a thing worth cashing in a Money in the Bank contract on. So it elevates the title, and yeah, he failed cashing in, but we sit here today, he's champion, so we got there eventually. It might have been a windy road to get there, but we got there, and him failing the cash-in also prompted the character change because it made him go unhinged. It made him frustrated. It made him ditch the phone gimmick, which was holding him down more than any failed cash-in ever would. So I think the way it all played out led us to here where Theory has a better gimmick. He's United States champion, and he does have a bright future. He doesn't, he's not going to be world champion tomorrow, though. So I think him being in a spot to elevate the United States Championship is where he fits, because he's great in ring, and he's starting to build his character, and I think that's the perfect spot for a United States champion. So I think it all worked out.
Justin, you look like you're chomping at the bit. Let's go, baby. Come on, this is a debate. Cut them off. Listen,
it's so hard to believe it still.
Let's hear it.
He has this whole, he had this new gimmick going for himself. And it was like, okay, I was willing to give it an opportunity. But right now, Monday, it feels like they just backtracked on it.
Would you fight a guy? Yes. Did you see what Seth was wearing? Would you fight a guy wearing that? You don't know what he's going to do. You don't know what's going to end up in your hands and your orifices. He's smart to avoid the fight. at that particular time. He fights on the champ's time.
He literally showed up in something that Becky wore for him on their wedding night. Like, my God.
Right.
It was
fantastic.
Insane. Absolutely insane. Like, insane. Theory, he needs to like stick to the character right now because it's not. I don't know. That Monday felt like a backtrack. He felt like we're going
on the champ's time. He didn't run away. He didn't feel like fight. He wasn't in his.
I don't know.
Stretch.
He
didn't do
away.
his calisthenics before he came out. He wasn't ready to fight a guy in a see-through fucking lingerie pantsuit. Like, that's not when he's gonna fight.
Oh, come on. That is the best time to fight. A man shows up in lingerie.
What are you gonna grab? Him in the head. You have nothing like to grab. That.
Yes, you do. You grab the lingerie.
Good point.
I don't know how you handle lingerie usually, but
just
grip it and rip it.
It felt like a backtrack, and it really, really sucks that we went that way because he stood up to Bobby Lashley and then realized, oh fuck, I can't win this fight. But then goes face to face with Rollins again, and then just goes, screw it. I'm supposed to be this really angry, like I'm so mad I lost my money in the bank, and now I got the United States title, and I could just beat the snot out of Seth Rollins right here. But I'm just gonna go, oh well, on my time. Sorry, it was a really big disappointment.
Does that give? Oh, he already pinned Seth Rollins the night before, or the 2 nights before. So it's like, why is he gonna waste the energy?
Lastly, though.
The rule book or the scorebook says Austin Theory pins Seth Rollins for the W. So
the United States title needs to be it just sucks because the United States title has no choice but to be the title right now because it's held hostage because the other one is being held by Roman and held hostage.
I think it's always a good thing for titles to be elevated.
It was always the title. It's another one that should be the title used to bring up that can be elevated is definitely a thing, but it also needs to be the thing to elevate somebody to a world title, not just be the only prize that you have to fight for because your world champion decides to go be somebody that he hated the entire time, somebody he said he'd never be like, and that's what really sucks.
I mean, I don't think it's a consolation prize like you're suggesting. I think Lashley, Rollins, and Theory did good in making it feel like they each wanted it, and now Theory's very proud to be champion enough to where he doesn't want to fight Seth willy-nilly. So, and he cashed in his money in the bank, which is what this topic was. So that in itself made it feel important, I think.
It just feels like a roller coaster right now with Theory. We're going up and then going down and then going up and then going down.
I love roller coasters. Roller coasters.
Not always.
All right, Justin, let's hear your final statement before we get on to the next topic.
I want to give it a chance, but right now it's still not clicking. It is still not clicking. I hate saying it, but it's coming down to the point where we're just going back and forth like we're playing ping pong with Austin Theory, and I would like to see them stick to something like one thing and make me feel like, okay, Theory's got this aggression in him, so let's start seeing it. Not this whole, I'm going to be aggressive one day, and then when somebody starts shit-talking me, I'm going to back away and run away again.
Kyle?
Well, I think, because I was with you. When Theory first cashed in, I was like, it was kind of dumb. Why wouldn't he just at least try against Roman? But I think he did a very good job the following week and explaining that the bloodline and their constant interference that we've seen evidenced in Roman's 2-year title reign, every match is riddled with bloodline interference, and the bloodline continues to grow. So it's inevitable that the bloodline would have helped Roman retain had Theory cashed in on Roman. So I think Theory got the most value in cashing in on the United States title, and he didn't win it, but he eventually won the title a few weeks later. So, and I think where we're at now, it's still early days, but I feel like he's in a better position now than he was when he was holding the briefcase.
I love it. Keith, what do you think? Let's get to the next topic.
Yeah, no, that was all. It's well debated. Good job, gentlemen.
Let's go. All right. The next topic is the Undertaker's WrestleMania streak. Ivan, you are for the decision, and Pro, you are against the decision of obviously him, losing against Brock Lesnar. Let's start. Ivan, you are for. Let's hear it.
Well, I mean, I'm for the fact because if you look at the card for WrestleMania 30, you had the main event, which you had Randy Orton, Batista, and the winner between Triple H and Daniel Bryan at the time, excuse me. So you needed something a soap opera that actually would cause the whole crowd and the whole momentum to go, the momentum to be at its lowest. And what better way to put the Undertaker's streak on the line versus Brock Lesnar? And not only that, I mean, what other opponent would you rather have the Undertaker to lose to? I mean, I think this was the best way for Lesnar to get that win overall, and especially with Lesnar's career when he began as a rookie, alongside when he started working with Taker, and Taker taking him alongside the ropes, teaching him teaching him the ways, teaching him backstage role, teaching him the psychology of WWE, and for what better way for Lesnar to get rewarded by defeating Undertaker and ending his streak at WrestleMania. And not only that, you have Daniel Bryan, having his moment at WrestleMania 30 at the main event. So this was obviously the best decision for them to have Brock Lesnar to dethrone Undertaker's streak at WrestleMania.
Pro, you're against the decision of him being defeated at WrestleMania. Let's hear it.
Yeah, I don't think they should have done it for especially with Brock Lesnar, just because. I mean, I get what Ivan was trying to say. There was before WrestleMania 30, they were he was hinting at giving up and retiring and stuff like that, and behind the scenes, him and Brock Lesnar were very close. But why did they have to end the streak to begin with? Why couldn't he just go out on top? Why couldn't he keep having a streak and end it with being like 24-0, 21-0, whatever at the time, right? And another point I wanted to I want to make is there's plenty of other talent that could have taken that than Brock Lesnar. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Was he or was he not a part-timer back then as well?
I'm talking about Taker, or you talking about Lesnar, because both of them were part-timers, because Taker was already on his way pretty much out, and he was taking more part-time roles, because that's why he'll come back, make appearances at SummerSlam or Survivor Series or Royal Rumbles. The big four that really counts for WWE doesn't really come much like the other pay-per-views at the time. And and knowing his his schedule, and then knowing his physicality, he was already at that peak already. So what better way would it be to end with Brock Lesnar? I mean, it would have been obvious.
Here we go. Let's go.
Why? Okay, so with that, that makes sense. That makes sense, right? So then why do it again with Roman Reigns years later?
Well,
why was Roman Reigns also the guy as well to do that? And
because it was a favor. It was a Vince McMahon favor. He will go ahead and do that for. The Undertaker would do anything for Vince.
And also, do you think that losing the streak on the same night that Daniel Bryan does his historic thing, do you think that overshadows Daniel Bryan's thing?
No, it doesn't.
To me, I felt like everybody after that was talking about Undertaker losing his streak. That was the most controversial thing that happened from that night.
But if you see the next day on Raw, Bryan got the biggest ovation that even more than 3 minutes the crowd didn't even be quiet and we're not on the talk over the mic. So that was his moment that he had, and what better way to have his moment, even though we're talking about the streak here, but it wasn't talked about that during that night as much compared to Bryan Danielson' celebration. So I mean, like I said, with Taker's streak, I know you mentioned Lesnar, but who else? It would have been obvious Cena. It would have been obvious if anybody else at that time. But someone unexpectedly like Lesnar, why not? So,
but then why? I guess why couldn't the Undertaker just keep his streak?
Because I think Taker would, it was about that time that Taker needed to end the streak, and of course everybody wants to end undefeated. But what better way to end the streak unexpectedly on a WrestleMania 30? Instead of waiting, because And not only that, he knew himself, physically and mentally, he was not going to make it all the way to WrestleMania 40. I mean, look where he's at right now. He's officially retired, so he's not even, he's not going to make it. So what better way to end the streak? To end the streak early, and knowing mentally and physically that you're not capable of doing what you used to do 20 years ago. So you don't have that capability anymore. What the best way to end it, and have someone end it that people never expected, because all of us expected Lesnar to lose to Undertaker at WrestleMania 30. But then when that unexpected, surprise happened, it was the best decision in my opinion.
Pro, you got the last word. Let's hear it. You are against the decision. Let's hear it.
I don't know. I just still don't think it was the right call for any situation, regardless, especially out of all the people like Brock Lesnar, a guy that I don't know. I've just never been personally never been a Brock Lesnar guy. So I guess, that's all I got on this topic. They could have kept the streak. They could have kept the streak going. And I still believe that. I still believe that Undertaker should have come up on top. And I don't believe they should have done it again with the same guy, with Roman Reigns years later. Because then that kind of makes the whole Brock Lesnar thing invalid, in my opinion.
But that will be another obvious choice. The same, because at that time we all saw Roman was getting built up. Vince was pushing it. Vince was keep on pushing it, for Roman at that time, and we noticed that, and it would have been obvious. It's extremely obvious. Here it was just only, okay, here's my yard. I'll give you my yard, but he didn't give him a street. That's a difference to it. There's a difference to giving you the yard, where Taker basically was the leader of the backstage role, and giving it to Roman Reigns. That's what he gave him. That's why he lost at Mania.
Ivan, you spoke out of term. You lose some points. No, I'm kidding. Great first and second round, but I think we need a little more. So it's going to be an all-out brawl, okay? No rules. It's not going to be one-on-one. It's all of us. Keith, you're in the mix too. I know this topic is
I'm ready.
I know this topic is talked often about what will happen, why it should happen. Let's talk about it. All right. Give it to me.
No.
I think it does. Let's hear it, Keith. Why do you think?
No. I would like to hear first why you're wrong. I want to hear why you're wrong.
God damn it. I just think if they go one-on-one without the title, what does it mean? I understand it's
head of the table.
I know it's legend versus legend, family versus family, but why? The other question is too, who is good enough to beat Roman right now? I don't see anyone. So why not have The Rock? Yes, you can throw in your boy Keith KO, but I don't think he's on the same level. Come on, let's hear it. This is a debate.
So I get where you're coming from, the spectacle and all that. The whole thing, when this all started out here tonight with Justin and Kyle over there, they were talking about how it's essentially become a thing where the title is like it's almost like Roman's part-time. He's on all the shows. He's on a lot of the shows. He shows up. He's there. He's not exactly part-time like Lesnar was, where he just had the belt and disappeared for months on end. Guy doesn't defend it all the time, which is fine. That's how a world title should be. If you give it to The Rock, though, The Rock has who can name the last time The Rock wrestled a real match, not a fucking 13-second squash against the Wyatts at WrestleMania? When's the last match he actually wrestled?
I don't need
Anyone?
to answer. Don't answer that. Don't answer that.
Exactly, because I don't know either. Because none of us do. Because he's beyond part-time.
I do.
He is not.
Of course, Justin does. Give me.
Okay.
Roman won't lose. Justin, go ahead.
It is the match with John Cena.
John Cena, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, the second in a lifetime, twice in a lifetime.
Yeah, once in a lifetime, twice. Yeah.
I was there for the second time.
Right.
Yeah, I'm basically with you though, because the Rock and Roman literally have the head of the table. That's all it is. That's all you need. It does not need extra freaking things.
I don't think you need The Rock.
I get where Nick's coming from here. That The Rock's not going to win it. You're absolutely right. But that's what makes that match with the title stupid. because all of us know going into that, The Rock's not going to win. If you take the title out of the picture and it becomes The Rock coming back, just being like, "Oh, you're the head of the table, really?" I am.
Disagree.
Like, I know, friggin'
Disagree.
Logan Paul stole it already, but The Rock is. If Logan Paul is the table, then the Rock then is like the fucking seeds that made the tree to make the wood to make the table. Like, the guy has transcended wrestling at this point. So he comes back and just like, "You're talking a lot of shit. You're talking a whole lot of shit here, Roman. You're the head of the table. Eat my ass. I'm the fucking head of the table." And then it becomes a thing of like, well, it's not for the title. Maybe he is. Maybe he'll take it. Maybe we'll enjoy seeing him wrestle for the first time since whatever year that was for the second in a lifetime thing. But for the title, it's like you said. If you go into it, it's like, oh, it's Rock Roman for the title. It's like, okay, well, Roman's going to retain. They're not going to put the undisputed, both the world title belts on a person who's not even part-time at this point, who's just been absent outside of random appearances where Ronda Rousey flips someone over in the ring, or he rock bottoms Eric Rowan after setting his name on fire to start a show.
One more thing before I give it to Kyle. Did you think Roman or Cena would have beaten Roman? No. You knew Roman was going to, get the pin, and you enjoyed the match still. Kyle, take it away.
Well, I mean, just looking at it from a storyline perspective, because from a business standpoint, it doesn't make any sense, as you guys have laid out. But from a storyline perspective, okay, The Rock is 50 years old. He is the biggest star in the world, with or without a world championship. By the way, he's already won several world championships in WWE, so he's already proven himself in that arena. What incentive would The Rock have to come back and win one more world title?
Are you at?
None. There is
quick point. Okay. Just want to pop in here real quick, because Nick brought up the whole, did we think Cena was going to win the title from Roman? That wasn't for the undisputed Universal title. It was just when he was Universal Champion. So yeah, there's a little bit of doubt there.
Yeah.
Right now, Roman owns both world titles.
Where's the mute button? God damn it!
Oh, bring it! You can't silence the truth, man.
All right, Kyle.
Well, no, and similar to the Undertaker streak, actually. And why I don't think Brock Lesnar should have been that guy. The value in this is whoever beats him, because whoever beats him, whoever beats Roman for the title is going to be instantly made. Yeah. It's not going to do anything for The Rock if he were to win the title.
Great point.
So, and look, Sami Zayn, Jey Uso, Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens, like these are just a few names as of right now that would all hugely benefit from beating Roman. They would all make sense in beating Roman. And The Rock and Roman, look, the story is the family, it's the bloodline, it's the head of the table. Yeah. None of that, the title would be a backdrop. Like, it would be an accessory. And we've reached a point where when Roman loses, the title has to be the main focus. And it would not be the main focus if it was Rock and Roman for the title.
Justin, let's hear it. Are you for or against?
It does not need the WWE title. I don't think it doesn't need to have the WWE title. You have the family lineage. You have The Rock coming back to go, hey, you call yourself the head of the table, but I've been doing this a hell of a lot longer, being the head of that table of this family for so much more longer than you. Hell, I mean, even out in Hollywood, you've only been out in Hollywood once, but I'm still here
as an extra in my movie.
Right? I'm coming back here to show you that no matter how long you've been champion, you call yourself head of the table, you're never going to compare to the most electrifying man in sports entertainment. Like, it is there. It is there. It doesn't need extra things hooked onto it the entire time.
Ivan, let's hear it. What do you got?
Wow, come on, man. Look, I was Justin and Kyle. I like how Kyle put it in perspective. And just to add on too as well, look, it doesn't need the title at all. All it does, and I'm breaking it down in the business aspect and breaking it down in Dwayne Johnson's career. If we're noticing too that I'm noticing, why is he really like going back and putting out the Young Rock show? Why is he explaining to the audiences who are new to him, who are following him, who probably don't even know that he used to be a wrestler? He's taking it out because he wants all that just to be out there, out and about, and he wants his legacy to be in Hollywood, no longer in pro wrestling. He wants to escape from that. So what better way for how Kyle mentioned the head of the bloodline, have the head at the table, which is Dwayne Johnson, and you have Roman. He can lose in night one, lose the belt to anybody, like how the names were mentioned, Cody, KO, or anybody. Night two is where the prestigious title is, which is the head of the table of the Samoan family, of that family. And now you have all the Samoan dynasty up there in the entrance, and then that's when Dwayne The Rock passes the torch, because now The Rock's legacy in pro wrestling is now closed for his chapter. New chapter is open to end his legacy in Hollywood. And what better way for Roman to have that, and he could just sit down on the throne of Dwayne's in the pro wrestling era, saying that now I own this head of the table and doesn't need the belt. He can get it whenever he wants. That's how they should portray it. Because he is up, But Roman defeating Dwayne will put him at the high level without even with the Universal title at all. It builds that story, and it builds that story for Roman, and it benefits The Rock as well because he gets away from pro wrestling because he's more focused on the new audiences who are knowing him. Oh, he's an actor. Oh, he came out on Fast and Furious. He came out on Red Notice. They're focusing on that. And what better way for him to focus on that and ending his legacy in the Hollywood career than just only pro wrestling?
Yeah, the only thing I'll say is I agree to an extent, but I don't know who is the next man up. I don't. And when is it? Is it this
Cody
WrestleMania?
Rhodes.
Is it
Cody
next
Rhodes.
WrestleMania? If it's next WrestleMania, then I don't know why you would go one-on-one for the bloodline or for the family. It just doesn't make sense to me. If he's going to hold on to the title this year, then I can understand.
But how? Then who else is next?
I don't think anyone is.
What achievement does he need? He needs an achievement because
there's the problem.
The story's going to be.
Let's hear it, bro.
That's the problem. Why are we so if we're all about, Triple H is the future, man, he's focused on the younger guys, blah, blah, blah. And we're over here talking about The Rock coming back for a Roman match. They should be able to sorry for cursing, but they should be able to come here.
I'm kidding.
TVMA, man. TVMA.
They should be able to come here. If Triple H is as good as he says he is, or everybody else says he is, he should be able to build a younger star and be able to hype up this match between him and Roman Reigns for those two titles and not bring up this nostalgia all the time. That was the problem I had with WWE back in the day when The Rock came back for a John Cena match or Goldberg or Stone Cold. We constantly go over these nostalgia acts and it gets, it's tiring. And I get it. There's a story there. There's a story there for sure.
Well, and that's where I think the biggest ball drop with Theory's cash-in was. I stand by Theory should have held that thing because he could have held it until WrestleMania, I believe. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but he could have had it till WrestleMania this year.
Right.
I think the story to be told should have been Cody returns for the Rumble. Cody wins the Rumble. Cody goes to WrestleMania to go against Roman. Cody wins. As soon as he wins, A-Town down. He comes out, cashes in, pins Cody right away.
Yeah, he had
Cody right away. You want to talk about giving someone heat in a second? Fucking Theory would be the middle of a nuclear bomb if that's how that went with his cash-in. He would literally burst into flames with the heat he would have for that.
And earlier we were talking about
unexpected, that brings building that younger person up, like Pro said. That's how you build Theory.
Earlier we were talking about unexpectedness with Brock Lesnar and Undertaker, Brock Lesnar beating him. That would be unexpected. Why is that so wrong?
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't disagree there because it's like you can compare this to Seth Rollins when he cashed in at WrestleMania 31. Nobody expected that. Nobody thought he was going to cash in and take it away.
I'll say this. I don't know why we're looking at, the reason, I guess because it's the topic, but for me, it's like, why do you want this run to end? Why do you want Cody to come back? Why? I mean, yes, I want to see Cody win it sometime, but I'm enjoying this. I mean, look at the match at Survivor Series. That's good shit. That's storytelling at its finest. You want that done? You want that gone? No. He holds on the title. He beats The Rock for the title, and he gets on with it.
I'm going to say this. I was more intrigued by Sami Zayn and Jey Uso's story than I was Roman. Roman could, like somebody was saying.
Well, he couldn't hear.
Yeah.
KO for your champion. Come on.
Come on.
I think that's
come
the
on.
thing. That's the
Ain't
thing
ballet,
about
pal.
Pal.
That's all flip and flops, and he's sloppy. He's
It ain't
not my
ballet.
champion.
Ain't ballet,
That's
pal.
That's the thing about the Reigns story. It has kind of dipped big time. Like
No.
the Sammy stuff is way more
Where is this
interesting.
mute button?
At this point, we're throwing opponents at Roman,
That
just
is a
to
good
give
point.
him opponents.
I
So
agree.
like,
Yeah.
it's just it kind of feels like it needs to come to an end because the main issue was keep it fresh, keep freaking competition coming in for Roman, and we just keep start stop the entire time.
Well,
They booked themselves into a corner by making him a Superman, by
Mhm.
beating everybody.
Well,
And
yeah,
when you
but
beat
that was
everybody,
Vince's
you
call.
have nobody to beat.
Yeah, no,
It's-
that was Vince's call, and he was the
Well,
one that
Theory
you
too.
know,
Look
before
at that
it-
issue.
he's beaten everybody because the bloodlines constantly had his back. But if the bloodline crumbles and somebody from within the bloodline challenges him,
There you go.
then you have a whole
That's-
new playing field, and that's
I am
what
all
scary.
for
Then that's more
a Sami
interesting than
Zayn
bringing
world
back The
champion.
Rock
No, I agree.
for
I
a
totally
nostalgia grab.
Yeah, I'll give that to
Agreed.
you. I agree
The
with
scary
that.
thing is,
And
as much
does
as
it
it's important-
is it going to happen? That's the other question. I really don't know. I mean, the
Well,
Black
I heard
Black
somebody
Adam
say it. What was it, Keith?
didn't do
If
well.
you transcend wrestling, then that means that you should no longer be part of that world. Look at John Cena. I mean, John Cena, granted, he came back,
Yeah.
but he hasn't had a match this year, and we're
No.
almost done.
I think Roman
Oh, yeah.
is the table, and he should not be defeated. Boom, baby.
he had the one with Roman.
TKB, baby.
Not
Hey,
this
it's-
year. That was last year.
I'm
No,
fine
this
with
is
letting it extend for a while. Like I'm fine with him. I mean, if it doesn't end at
Ooh,
Mania, that's
extend.
fine. I was saying if Theory still had the briefcase, that was how it should have gone. TK agrees with me because TK is the man.
He can face Sammy.
Well, we
he
can't
can face
show
Cody at
comments.
WrestleMania. Doesn't have to beat him. Like Roman could defeat Cody. Roman could defeat Sammy. Like
Right.
Really saying it.
This is what happens when I show comments.
All right, yeah. Well, good enough. Everyone else reading the comments knows that TK is with me.
Yeah.
Like that would have been an ideal world. That obviously cannot happen now, and that's fine. I'm not saying that I necessarily want Roman's reign to end, but like
There we go. Good
you know,
shit.
it's as much as I am enjoying it and everything, we're like the same fan base that when Brock won the Universal title and then just went away for like a long time. Granted, like Roman's like more present on TV and stuff, but it was just kind of like, all right, cool. We have this guy who's still world champion and he doesn't really do anything with it. Roman's on TV isn't an interesting storyline, so that changes a little bit, but it is also kind of just like, all right, yeah, he's still the world champ. Okay. Is this guy gonna beat him? Probably not, because he beat him already. You know,
Yeah.
like Drew's not I love Drew McIntyre, but there's like rumors of them having another go around, and it's like, all right, you're gonna lose again. You did it. You did in your home. You did in your hometown in the UK. Like, what chance do you have of winning in fucking Wichita, Kansas? Like,
It's like
the scary thing to go with this Rock thing is, I know again it's a report and all that stuff, but it's like there's reports going around that the Rock's going to win the Rumble, and that's just nonsense. Because then that first off,
don't tell me
that first off, you do not need to give the Rock the Rumble to have this match. You can just have the match because story and family.
Mm-hmm.
And second off, that is shitting on all the younger talent that deserve that spot of winning the Rumble and main event in WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I had to do it. Any last words before we get to the next topic? And this topic is going to be a banger.
Oh yeah.
No?
Good. Lower my blood pressure back down for the next one.
Let's go. Ivan, sorry I cut you off. What do you got? Any last words?
I was going to say, look, right now, WWE has the opportunity to be on the drawing board because they have no pay-per-view this month. That gives them the opportunity to now build stories heading into the Rumble and then right after. So this is, and I mean, they can build stories for television, like the World Cup tournament with Gunther and everything else. That's fine, but it gives they got to have a lot of opportunity to start building stories heading into Mania, because I think Paul Levesque wanted to get away from this, and because this was a basis, so it's like get away from the Vince McMahon type of thing, like, okay, fine, That's done. He got Survivor Series over with. Now start fresh heading into 2023, heading into Royal Rumble. And then there'll be Paul Levesque's era, in my opinion. I mean, it began already in Clash of the Castle and everything else, but I think this time we're going to see 2023.
All right, the next topic is the Ronda Rousey WWE experience. Hey, man, we talked about it on your podcast, bro.
We sure did.
The first year was, for me, in my opinion, was really, really fun. I love seeing her going one-on-one with, Steph, Triple H, The Rock, the whole thing. That was really interesting. But in my opinion, I don't know anymore. I just don't know what you do with her now and what you do with her in the future. I don't think she sells much merch. I don't know if she gets a lot of views on YouTube. I don't know what she's good for anymore. And that's sad because she was a big name at the beginning. Kyle, we didn't hear from you much last topic. Let's hear from you now. What do you got? I could speak, Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, Ronda Rousey, she's lost not all, but she's not the star, or she's not the attraction that she was in her first run. Because the first time is like, oh shit, this UFC lady, the girl that, or the woman that made women's UFC a thing, or women's MMA a thing, is here in WWE. It was like a crazy transition. And then, like you said, her run was pretty good. She didn't talk that much. She had good matches with is there like a washer in the background or something? Yeah, she had good matches with Charlotte and Sasha and even Nia Jax. She was having really fun matches. But then she came back and immediately, at the Rumble, it was clear she didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
And it's still to this day, it just keeps progressing. She keeps getting more apathetic every time she comes out there.
Yeah.
And the whole babyface run was ridiculous. I don't know what they were thinking with that, with Charlotte and all that. They had decent matches, but the build was terrible. And now she's just at this point where it's people are just annoyed to see her. Nobody's tuning in to see Ronda Rousey. Nobody's buying a ticket.
No.
Nobody's buying a pay-per-view for Ronda Rousey.
T-shirts, no.
I don't know what her merch is doing, but I wouldn't guess.
It can't be, dude. It can't be. Yeah.
So
I think people that are buying her merch are mistakenly buying hers and not Roddy Piper's because they wear the same shirt.
Yeah, the same colors. Justin, do you think? Oh, go ahead. My bad. Kyle.
No, I'm good.
Justin, do you think it's the storylines that she's been inserted in, or do you think it is Ronda Rousey? It doesn't help what she does online as well. Let's hear it.
I can't even tell you really what it is. That first run was so special. Her being in that division the entire that first year just was such a big step up for the women in the middle of that the women's revolution, as it was. That first run was, you got Ronda Rousey, and that makes everybody elevate their game.
Yes.
And now it's just Ronda's here, and I still just cannot figure out what the hell her purpose is here.
Well, look at Banks. She's gone.
She's
why
not even
is that?
I figured her coming back would be, hey, this is going to be the chance for the women to step up again. But it just feels like Ronda's just part of the division now, and she's just running that division and making everybody, not even doing what she originally did by making them all step up. She's just trying to overshadow them, and it's almost kind of coming off Charlotte style. Charlotte does that kind of thing where she'll overshadow people, and I'll go, this sucks. It's so bad. It's disappointing that it's come down to that, because Ronda, was such a good part of a division, and now she's just kind of become one of the worst parts about the division.
Ivan, I know for me, matches, wrestlers, I have to believe in them. I can't believe in Ronda. She's unbelievable. Yeah, she's an ass kicker in the octagon, but the squared circle, it just doesn't cut it for me. What do you got? Let's hear it. That was a good segue. Thank you.
Good one. I think well, for me, how it felt off, I think what fell off, honestly, was ever since they did not make that singles one-on-one Becky and Ronda. And they added Charlotte. I feel like that kind of dropped the ball. And for her momentum, Well, because if you go back and we look at it, the momentum was everybody wanted to have that singles match at Mania. That should have been a one-on-one. And I respect Charlotte, of course, professionally, everything what she does, but she shouldn't have been added to that matchup because, look what happened. It wasn't the greatest ending for that Mania, even though
wasn't it a botch too?
It was a botch.
Yeah.
She kicked her shoulder was up or whatever.
Yeah.
You bring up Charlotte, you bring up Banks. It's Ronda. Ronda's.
I think for me, I don't blame her. I blame the booking. It's just for me.
I love it. Let's hear it.
It's just the booking how it was because they knew. Look, right now, Paul is trying to figure out, analyzing everything, what fits, what does not fit.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna give him of what's going on right now. What I would do right now, currently, to revive that is make her a true badass with Shayna Baszler.
But they tried.
But here's the problem.
And Shayna's nothing. She doesn't have the charisma. Ronda doesn't.
Neither one of them do.
You're gonna put them two together? Come on.
They need a mouthpiece, is what they need.
Yes.
Yeah, they need a
Shayna with Heyman.
I was gonna say that. Give him a mouthpiece. That's not bad. I mean,
I don't think anyone. Yeah, but I don't think anyone's gonna touch Heyman right now. I don't think they want that.
Yeah, he's not.
Bloodline.
Yeah.
But it's just. Go ahead. My bad. I just love the debate.
Yeah, but see, the thing is,
Master.
to me, is just that. The thing is this. It's just that you could build those two women, and you want to build the women's tag division. There you go. Use them. Hold on. You haven't even heard my point yet because you're already jumping the gun without even my point. So, like I said, right now you need to give them heat. You need to start giving them real good heat. Make them badasses, truly badasses. Like, they run the women's division. And then have everybody, come back and go against them. There's different ways how to rebuild Ronda's momentum back. Yeah. It's just knowing how to use it properly and knowing as well the chemistry too at the same time. So there's a lot of factors into it. You have to understand that. There's so many factors into this, but I feel like what killed the momentum was ever since that Mania, that first run, I agree with all of you guys. Her run was great, but I felt like the way how they pushed it was the issue. So that's why I blame booking, because it was just, it was too obvious. It was very predictable. But if they would have done the singles, we would have been talking differently about Ronda right now. But it just,
I think you said two really important words: good heat. She don't got that. I don't know how you get that back, but I think if you do, that's something special, right? I mean, Keith, looks like you're barking at.
Just to touch on. I mean, I had kind of said on our stream with Pro here on Tuesday that I think one of the biggest problems with her is that wrestling, no matter whatever anybody wants to say, especially like now, everybody, like, you can't have the gimmick anymore of being like, I'm a good wrestler, because that's everyone now. 12, 15-ish years ago, when the women's division was the Divas and they were fighting for a belt with a fucking butterfly on it, sure, Ronda Rousey comes into that, boom, like that. She doesn't need to talk. Her gimmick is just, I'm going to come out there, break a fucking neck, we're going to move on. Great. Now, almost everyone in the women's division, trying to think of some exceptions, but I can't off the top of my head. Everyone pretty much is a good wrestler, though. So they need to have that charisma, those mic skills behind them. And I had said on Tuesday, Ronda doesn't have that because Ronda is just the same character. She just changes her body language with the things she says. If she's presented as a face, she's I'm gonna beat your ass and I'm tough. And if she's a heel, she goes, I'm gonna beat your ass and I'm tough. It's the same exact words. They come out there. It's just she changes body language and tone, and that's all it is. There's nothing there to get me interested in it.
I don't think she gets it.
I think that's it too.
I think it was something that she came into it with that first run. Same another point I'm going to bring back here because I thought it was a great one I made myself. I'm very masturbatory here, but on
the
Tuesday,
master
the point
at debate.
Exactly, masturbatory on the master debating, jerking off. Anyway, like I think a big reason why her first run was so good was because up to that point, that was coming toward the tail end of the Authority storyline where Stephanie just got to be a raging bitch to everybody, and she never got her comeuppance for it. anytime during that whole Authority storyline, she never got anything for it. I think maybe once like Vicky Guerrero like pied her, and like maybe once Brie Bella like pulled her hair. That was it. That was the extent of what she got out of just being a bitch and just being like, God, we want you to fucking die. You suck. So then when Ronda first came in, her and Angle, Trips and Stephanie, she got in the ring, put Stephanie in an armbar, and we were all like, oh my God, thank you. Holy shit. Yes. And we just rode that bliss for a while of being like, cool, this is a great thing she did. And I think she came in right in that same high of like, wow, this, I'm not getting actually like, I'm not actually getting beaten to piss in the octagon. Like we're cell punching and cell falling and all these things. So like, cool, this is an easy thing. And then it was like the reality crushed down on her of just like, well, this is what I do now. And this is what I have to do. And Kyle brought up a great point. When she came back at the Rumble, it was just like her first appearance when she came out and did her weird point to the WrestleMania sign, the weirdest point that's ever happened to that. She looked genuinely happy. She looked very excited to be there. And then when the Rumble, her number came up and she's like, all right, okay,
here for a paycheck.
Here we go.
Yeah.
All right, and a clothesline. All right, come on. All right, armbar. You're out. Okay.
I still don't think she's gotten over it because she was getting boos in her first run. Like when the Becky stuff started happening.
Oh yeah.
And people were getting behind Becky and not being behind Ronda. And I think Ronda took that she did obviously took it very personally, and I don't think she's gotten over that. And she has like this disdain for the audience, but not like in a good way. Like it doesn't translate into being a good
it's not
character.
like jokingly.
Yeah, it's to a point where she doesn't try. Like you have to
I think the problem is she tries too hard. I think she tries too hard because whenever she's a face or a heel, she leans way too much to being a face. I said this on Tuesday, and she leans way too much on being a heel. She tries to play up the crowd way too much on either side, and it's not convincing. And people see through that shit. I mean, we're all wrestling fans here. We're not stupid. You know, we all know when somebody's trying too hard, and I feel like she's trying way too hard to convince us that she's badass. Even the commentary, they're like, oh, here comes the badass. You know, it's like
baddest woman on the planet.
Yeah, the baddest woman on the planet.
Is she?
It's like, no, we don't see that. We don't see that anymore.
I think Ivan crushed it. That it all really started to derail when it went from being her and Becky to main event Mania to like throwing Charlotte into it. And TK, since we can't bring the comments up, TK brought a good point up in there saying that he's hoping they're building to Becky taking that belt off her at Mania, finally doing that one-on-one. Gotta be right. I hope it is, Timmy. I really
do
too, because
I hope so.
It's needed. That was like there was Becky like I can't even like form words. Like Becky got herself over so fucking well, and it was like one of the first times that somebody got themselves over really well, and Vince was just like, okay, yeah, we can run with this one. Instead of the Zack Ryder treatment where he got himself over real good and he's like, I don't want you to win. You can win the IC title in a ladder match and then lose it the next night. Fuck you. Like Becky got over, busted her. Oh my God. I want the poster behind me somewhere here of her with the fucking broken ass nose and the SmackDown friggin' shirt. She just killed it. Everything she did in that run up to it, like just killed it. And then it was just like, all right, Charlotte's back. So now she's in too, because fuck you. It's like, well, and I talk a lot of shit on Charlotte. I don't hate her. She's an awesome worker. Yeah. I just hate that it's like she is without question the Roman Reigns from years ago in the women's division, where they're just like, no, you're gonna like her, you're gonna watch her, and that's all they do with her. And it's that's why it became a triple threat, because they're just like, oh well, wait, first women's main event at Mania, well, Charlotte has to be in there. We have to put her in there. We can't not do something historical women's wise and not have it be Charlotte. Wasn't she also the first women's Hell in a Cell? Wasn't that her and Sasha?
Yeah,
like, you know. Maybe the only one she didn't get was the an Iron Man or an Iron Woman match, because wasn't that Sasha and Bailey in NXT? I could be wrong there though too. She might have still gotten the first one of there. So like, you know, I think that's where it all started going down for Ronda. And then, like I said, I'm just convinced a lot of it just comes to she just doesn't have personality in any way. And because of the era of being a good wrestler doesn't cut it for anything anymore, like by itself, she's just stuck. I think I said on Tuesday the same thing. If she had showed up, if everything was the way it was, like if she had showed up like 12 years ago, it'd be a whole different story. It'd be a completely different story. If she was the first one to show up to be like a decent wrestler, while like the only other one was like AJ Lee at the time, and then it was like no hate to any of these names, but like fucking Summer Rae and Eva Marie and all these people around that are kind of like, I can do a snapmare and then we'll figure it out from there. Like she comes in having like actual combat, like sport experience, and it would be a whole different story of just like, I don't care what she says. Look at her fucking go. But it's not. Instead, she's in there mixing it up with people like Becky, who are really good in the ring, and Sasha, or I don't know. Did she fight Sasha? Maybe she didn't fight Sasha. That'd be a good one to watch. Maybe.
Here's a great question. Do you
No,
think it's because she's too believable? That's why yeah. Like because she's a UFC fighter and an MMA fighter and all that stuff, like
Brock
Lesnar was a UFC fighter.
Yeah, she has to like go in there and freaking
Ken
always
Shamrock was a fighter.
Decimate people.
But I think what he's trying to say is they're believable. Like their in-ring work was believable. I think, Justin, I think you got something there. Like she's from the UFC. She kicked ass. She should be,
Shayna
she should do
Blazer.
well. Yeah, she should. She should do
I think
well.
that's the problem. That's the problem with it.
One. That's a good one. I didn't think about that. Yeah, she's a badass. Why can't she be good in the WWE? Well, it's not really for everybody, and I think it shows.
Yeah, but it just remind you one thing. It doesn't have to be like high spot moves. It could be a suplex or an elbow drop or an arm bar. Anything that sells. Mind you, it's telling the story in the ring and selling yourself. Like everybody mentioned, her problem is her charisma, and that's obviously the main key issue. Moves doesn't matter. I get it's a good point that you mentioned that, Justin. But also Dave mentioned, look at how Shamrock, for example. He transitioned into pro wrestling. It took him a while to use to the psychology of pro wrestling. The same with Dan Severn when he went along. So I mean, with Ronda and Shayna, basically all four horsewomen, they're transitioning into something different. This is not a judo throw. Grapple or none of that. I mean, this is jiu-jitsu. This is different. So
you got to be entertaining too.
Yeah, that's the only thing that they're missing is the entertaining side. But I feel like for me, the entertaining side, how you mentioned, Justin, that they should be a badass. Like they should be a badass. That's why I mentioned the way they could really revive this is have those two, like your women of destruction, like the brothers of destruction, run over everybody and get fucking heat and just get all that shit talking. Mind you, we're living in a modern era where anything you say on social media or anything can be offended, very offensive. Yeah. So I mean, they could take that advantage.
She does that well.
But I think the booking though of a badass like that, like someone that's running through your division, like you had kind of mentioned earlier, that brings its own kind of host of problems that I bring up on. I feel like I might have brought it up on every stream I've been on since I got into all this here with Nick. Is it brings up the same problem that like I feel like AEW has with Jade Cargill. Like it's cool on the one hand, like yes, there's some sort of booking to be done for like badasses that run through your roster. But I'm at a point in AEW, I know this is kind of unrelated, but I'm at a point in AEW where Jade is whatever she is in O now, and I'm kind of just like I don't care to watch any more of your matches because I don't know who's going to beat you. Everyone that you have signed on your roster, she's whooped all their asses except for like Britt Baker, who is doing whatever else. Like. Jade's beaten Jamie Hayter, unless I'm completely wrong there. Maybe they haven't wrestled. I could be wrong on that, but
they haven't. I don't think they have.
Like,
but
other than
we need fact checkers.
Other than it's like Jade has beaten everyone else on that roster. That's not the ones in the main title picture. Which already, let's talk about that. How is she undefeated and she hasn't gotten an actual women's title shot? But that's a different argument for a different day. Yeah. So like, if you get into this thing of like trying to redo and rebook Ronda and Shayna as that, it's like okay, but then that's still, I guess it's like something that it worries me more because then where do they go from there? Because I feel like there's never a good answer to that, like running through everybody, but no one can beat them because then who do you get to beat them? And especially it's even more worrisome. But it's something that's even more worrisome. Well, I guess with Sasha and Naomi, like they're the exception now, but it's more of a worry with WWE. I was going to say because like with AEW at least they have the flexibility. I don't think they'll do it with Jade, but like. They have the flexibility that they could bring in like a Jordan Grace, who I fucking love, to actually pin Jade because she's bigger and believable and could beat Jade potentially. Or like Max the Impaler or someone like that. Like they have a lot of room that they can bring people in because they're more independent like that. But in WWE, you're either signed to a WWE contract or you're not. So if you're going to book them as these badasses on this run, awesome. But then you need to start building while you're running that badass run. You got to start building somebody else up really, really well to make a believable challenger for her, because if not, it's the same like the Roman thing I said. If she pins Sasha at some point, I'm not going to believe Sasha's going to has a chance to beat her the next time they go at it. I don't believe Drew has a chance to beat Roman because Roman already beat him.
Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest question. It's like who, it just also, like I said, I'm too much in the detail. It's just me. I'm like, who's producing it? Who the hell, that's just how I am. It's just everything. It all involves towards the end of the day. It involves behind the scenes, besides the person who's presenting it, who's doing it. But it's also, hey, how you're really breaking it down to this individual. There's a lot of producers backstage that WWE has, which I'm not compared to AEW. That's different. That's a different topic. But this is like, there's time and there's opportunities how to fix this, and they have it right now. What I mentioned earlier, we're not into Rumble yet. You got this whole month to fix it.
You can't fix this. You can't.
That's why I was asking you guys, Keith and Nick, the other night. Like, how long do we have? How long do we give like Dom or Ronda before we say, okay,
this run?
We've given them this run.
Yes.
Like we given them enough chances.
I think we've given her enough chances.
I don't think she's at Mania, and then she goes away.
Yeah. She's not good on the mic. She's not good in the ring. I don't care if you're a UFC Hall of Famer. You gotta have the it factor. She had the it factor in UFC. She does not have the it factor in professional wrestling, and that's just the bottom line. I mean, we could debate about this all night, but I think we can all agree there. Like, right? It's just not entertaining for me.
No, I think maybe towards the end, I think she wants to be at home, be a mother.
Yeah,
honestly,
that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. No shame, no disrespect. Yeah,
when she comes out,
go ahead.
Especially when she comes out sounding like a mom. She always has those like corny, like, haha, I'm a funny mom, right?
Oh,
like,
yeah,
title Shotzi.
Yeah,
clean up an aisle green. Like
you're on skis.
Yeah,
I know. That's the only thing I was like, who wrote this promo for her?
Yeah.
What the fuck was
that?
The
Kendrick.
less talking, the better.
he got fired. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. All right, boys, let's get to the last topic. Any last words before we do?
Ronda sucks.
I love it.
This is her last run. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, you heard it here.
I do. I will say though, because we TK had shared it in our little chat thing earlier. There's like this whole thing, or he shared it on Twitter. There was a whole thing of like somebody's got a whole thing at this time on Friday. Let's get the trend, like the hashtag trending fire Ronda Rousey. I don't support that at all.
Yeah.
She sucks, but
No,
I'm
that's
certainly not
fucked
going
up.
to do that. Like,
Yeah.
just go fuck yourself. It's not going to do anything
Yes.
besides make you feel like you're a cool person on Twitter, and
Yeah.
you're not. You're the worst.
She wants to leave, and that's it.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah,
Exactly.
give her that at least. I mean, is she
She still
really
sucks,
trying? Yeah, she sucks, but I think she's trying, right? I mean, hey, you get an A for that.
A for effort.
Yeah.
For effort.
All right, let's get to the last topic of the night. The topic is what was more important.
Pipe bomb.
All right, let's hear it, Pro. We didn't hear you much last round. Let's get it here.
Pipe bomb. Pipe bomb. Definitely the pipe bomb. And
let's
it's not because I'm from Chicago and I love CM Punk. And that's my hometown hero. But definitely the pipe bomb. That was the, I mean, at the time, that was the most like, no one has ever like, regardless if he went out there and they told him to do it, like kind of speak out their mind. That was the most iconic thing that has ever been said. And many people have tried to emulate it, try to copycat it, but nobody has ever matched it. Nobody's ever matched it. And it's great. I love it. That pipe bomb 100%.
Yeah. I don't know. It's tough for me just because I know it's a television show and everything has to go through Vince. And there's been stories, and I think even Punk said something. He knew about a lot of things. Maybe not about the Colt Cabana thing. Maybe not about calling his Triple H a doofus. I don't know about that, but
it was like
I don't know,
predicting the future almost.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
also,
he was passionate.
The context of the time. I mean, Punk legitimately was reaching the end of his contract. At the time, yeah, sure, everything has to go through Vince, but like the actual content of what he was saying, if you're watching it live, you're like, oh, he's just saying shit to get himself fired because he knows he's leaving. So it's like it blurred the lines of reality, and I feel like it opened a whole new era of promos and characters having a lot more realistic elements to them. So I think for that alone, I feel like the pipe bomb was more impactful because it really just kickstarted a whole new era. I mean, the term pipe bomb is a thing because of this promo. Like
exactly.
People still quote that shit to this day. You know?
It's still talked about I've seen more talk about the pipe bomb over the years still than sadly Occupy Raw. Occupy Raw is still a amazing segment, but it's like Punk's pipe bomb still comes off as, again, it gets you as debating. Is it legit? Like, was it legit? Was it scripted? What is it?
Yeah.
Like, it felt like telling the future. Punk had his crystal ball and he was ready to go in. He just needed a microphone and he was off to the races.
Breaking the fourth wall like he did. Just everything about it.
People were doing that before that.
Ivan, what do you got, brother? Let's hear it.
No, I totally agree. I think, as much as I hate to say it, but it's a pipe bomb. It's still talked about. I mean, you know how Dave mentioned it, and Kyle mentioned, Justin, everybody just like it broke the fourth wall, and it did, because a lot of things at that time, there was stuff you couldn't say on WWE programming, and for him to mention other promotions and him to mention other talents from everywhere was like it caught on our caught eyes and got the attention, because how J-Man mentioned, is this real? Is this what's going on? And it really got us going. And I think that's probably the only thing that really elevated, the career for him. I mean, that pipe bomb in WWE, I'm saying. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, there's, Occupy Raw was great. That was more of a, that I probably would have, it's different because he was Occupy Raw. And even prior to that, even started with Brian Lawson at SummerSlam, and you hear the chants, people that wanted Brian, the main event, everything else. So, but this is the way it's different. I mean, the thing, honestly, yes, the one that is no matter what to this day is talked about is the pipe bomb, CM Punk. A lot of people try to do the same what he's done. Doesn't work, honestly. It's we're this era now that it's everything's either legit or not. They're taking soap opera that we watch at its best and input it to pro wrestling more, and that's what they did. And no more cartoon 80s characters. This is more like real soap opera that you watch. Yeah, but it's how do you use it? How do you make us want to be like, oh, I got to tune into the next episode? That's something that you need to sell that to us, the audience, so we can be like, oh, you got to come back to it next week to see what's going to happen next. Not just, typical pipe bombs want to be CM Punk now.
And he kept going with it. That was the best part. He kept going with it week after week, going to Triple H, calling him Paul Levesque. Yeah. Saying the real names on there. Like, crazy, man. And I think ratings were like all-time high when he was doing that kind of stuff, because people constantly wanted to see what he was going to say next.
Yeah. Agreed. I mean, Keith, I don't know about you, but I feel like a feel-good moment is, it's great. It's wonderful. It's must see. I was a big DB fan. I'm still a big Bryan Danielson fan, but I think the ass-kicking moments like Stone Cold and the truck and the beer and all that, that's what we remember. The King of the Ring speech. We remember that because it was an ass-kicking moment. I mean, I'm a big DB fan, but I think Pipe Bomb rules here. I think it's just a bigger moment, and I think it did more for the industry. I know DB, it wasn't, planned for that to happen for his run. We can get into that another day, but I think, the Pipe Bomb is something, we're still talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think I agree with everybody. I think the pipe bomb takes it, but I think it's because I think it's kind of like it's tough to compare them, because like the pipe bomb was like a moment. It was just like a moment in time. Like it was a promo that happened, and it changed the game. Whereas like Kyle kind of said, like when it was happening, it was kind of just like, well, this could really be just him actually just going off. Everything's gonna be approved by Vince. Okay. But like, it was something that we were kind of just like, I mean, yeah, he probably had these things approved, but once he goes out there and they're on TV, he can just do whatever you want. They're not going to like cut the show off in the middle of it. I mean, they cut his mic eventually at the end, but I feel like that was a scripted thing, whatever.
I think so.
But it was, there was that, a lot of that, there was that blurring of like, is this actually happening? Is he saying this? Is he not? Is he just, pulling punches because he's leaving, whatever. With Occupy Raw, it was kind of just like, well, I mean, this isn't just random people that hop the barricade and are hostaging the show. Like, cool, I get where it's coming from. Like, yeah, Debra, yes, and I'm in. Yes, yes, I'm in. But like, all right, like this is a segment. Those are people they paid. These are plants, and that's fine. But like, it wasn't as like something. It wasn't something that you could get like
organic,
potentially lost in or organic. Yeah, like. Punk just had a live mic and just started saying stuff.
And he meant it too.
With all the things of like dropping New Japan and Ring of Honor on WWE, that was like unheard of at that time. Like no chance anyone was saying that. They do it all now and stuff because Vince is gone and everything, and that's great. But at that time, especially, like no one's doing that. And hey, Cole Cabana, I mean, even though that aged like fucking old milk at the time.
I was just about to say he tried to do the same thing 10 years later.
all that kind of pieces of it have like their own thing, but even that, like, I think the proof is just that it comes down to, everyone kind of said when MJF, cut his big one the other night again, right before he beat Moxley, he used the line just like, all right, John, as you lay there, hopefully in as much possible pain, like
exactly
that was CM Punk's line, like that he said that, and like it was so much more iconic. I mean, because like really what it comes to is like we didn't know any of these topics coming into this, and when that popped up and I saw it, I was just like, oh yeah, Occupy Raw, that happened. Okay, yeah, like it wasn't something that I think about like that much, but like like if I hear somebody say the phrase just like I have a lot to say, I just like like I can see the legs crossing and the mic coming up and everything. Like it's all there in my head
iconic.
Immediately. Yep. Yeah,
that's literally my profile picture.
That's like it's just you hear those certain words or someone doing anyone and anything breaking the fourth wall, going like, oh hi, someone else. It's like, oh hi, Cole Cabana.
Yeah,
we're back there again, and It was just a lot more. It brought so much more. I mean, Occupy Raw was something where it was more like them just acknowledging the fans and trying to make us feel better, even though they stopped listening to us again almost immediately after. But the pipe bomb was just, it was the pipe bomb.
Yeah. I think it's those moments, I think it's those moments that we interviewed. I don't know. I forget who it was, but he said like, they discuss moments. They don't do matches. It's all about the moments. And I believe that. And I believe that's what we got there. Before we end the show here, Keith had one more topic I didn't get to fit in, but let's talk about it real quick. Yes or no? Picture in picture during commercial breaks. Do you love it? Let's hear it.
It's the fucking worst. They're the fucking worst. I never grew up with picture in picture. I don't know why that was a thing that started happening. That's the whole reason I even brought this up. Maybe it's just me because 9 times out of 10 when I'm watching the shows, it's after they're recorded and I'm watching them on my phone. So when it's already a small screen and then it goes picture in picture, and it's like, well, I'm not watching this.
Yeah.
So like, this is dumb. But never through the Attitude Era, through anything else with Nitro and all that, would I ever have picture in picture. Shit, how many Nitro episodes ended with just like, we're out of time, cameras are rolling, and then next week on Nitro, you had to take the first 5 minutes to be like, hey, here's how this brawl and this other bullshit that happened last week ended.
Yeah.
Or on Thunder, whatever. Like we don't in this day and age where WWE has a 3-hour show and a 2-hour show every week, plus a premium fucking live event, which has promos now for some reason. It's a pay-per-view. But they have pay-per-views pretty often too, but they at least have 5 hours of television every week. AEW has, 3 television plus 2 hours on YouTube every week. There's no reason for me to that you can't just take me off the screen and do your commercial break stuff like they did in the Attitude Era and everything else. You putting it in picture isn't helping me in any way. I'm not, even when I watch it on my nice big TV, I'm not getting up off my couch to sit there in the corner and actually see what's going on. And even with that, 9 times out of 10, when they come back from it, if something crazy happened, they go, this happened in picture, and they show you the replay anyway. So what the hell is the point?
Picture. If you're watching, it's always
they used to do that during commercial breaks too, where they'd come back and be like, this happened during the break. And it's
exactly.
Yeah, it makes much difference. Football does it a lot now too. I mean, the picture is a little bigger, but it's not it's just, I don't know. I'm getting up to get some food, to go to the bathroom, to whatever. Not going to sit there and watch, them. I don't even know what they do. I really don't. I've never watched picture in picture.
That's what I mean. It's just it's rest holds, it's some punches, it's go to the outside.
AEW's a victim of poor picture in picture because they'll have some really big moments happen during picture in picture. And it's just like, well, yeah, cool. I didn't want to see that. Thanks a lot, guys. Just put that in picture where I have to like squint and need a mic and need a freaking magnifying glass to see it. Like
the only good thing that has come out of picture in picture was the Jericho Nick Gage match when it went to picture in picture while Nick Gage was running the pizza cutter across Jericho's head and it cut to a fucking Domino's commercial.
That's great.
That's it. Otherwise, it's all been trash.
Yeah.
So I might be in the minority here then, because
let's hear it.
I actually like it.
Get out.
I like it. I like it a lot better. I like it a lot better than what WWE does, where you're about to get into a commercial. Like, once somebody gets thrown out the ring and the cameraman runs up to the dude and then he zooms in on the dude in pain and then it fades to black and next thing you know, you're in a commercial.
Into this?
Yeah.
They always have like the same lines that lead into it.
Yeah, and I like it. I like how they keep the action going. I mean, I get it that you guys, I wish they would do one thing. I wish they would make the advertisement screen smaller, and the wrestling thing bigger.
See,
Thank you.
That's what the NFL does.
I wish they would do that. If they did that, I don't think a lot of people would. They would probably still complain, but
they
wouldn't complain as much.
What network has it without that? Like I don't know if it's Canada that has that. I think TSN.
Canada.
Someone because
the UK. I hear them talk about it on Cultaholic all the time. They're just like, oh yeah, when America was on commercial, this thing happened like during the show. I'm like, well, fuck.
They have that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, because for AEW, they don't have. They're like AEW isn't like on. Like a TV station over there, it's like on through Fight TV, so they don't have commercials because it's a streaming app. Even though we all have fucking commercials for goddamn Peacock.
Yeah.
AEW
right? And I don't know what you guys.
Hey, they'll cut to. You'll hear like Excalibur say, "We're going to picture in picture break," but they don't go to picture in picture break on Fight.
And you just hear him and Taz talking shit. It's awesome.
Yeah,
it's hilarious. I hear that shit. It's so hilarious.
All right, boys, let's close the show down here. Kyle, why don't you lead us off? Where can the people find you?
Well, first of all, Nick and Keith, thank you for having me. It's been a great time. You can check me out, the Apron Bump podcast. You can listen wherever you listen to podcasts, and on YouTube as well. I cover a lot of retro wrestling from companies big and small across 4 different decades. So a lot of variety on the Apron Bump. So go check me out, apronbump.com for everything. Apron Bump on all the social medias. I don't have a Hive yet. I don't know if you guys have Hives, but I'm holding out for Twitter. So Twitter's where I'm most active, so go follow me there. And hail Satan.
What is Hive?
I made one, but then I also saw a thing just today that was just like major data breaches left and right. I have not used it once. I just made it when I thought Twitter was shutting down.
Nice.
Yeah, great. It's like
I made a Mastodon too, which is even worse.
Mastodon.
Yeah, it's dumb. It's all dumb. Yeah, it's like that was before Hive was the one. Mastodon was the one everyone was going to move to.
Hey,
it's stupid. Don't
Mastodon.
do it. Yeah, exactly.
Dong. Bro,
nice.
Give the people what they want. Oh, nice. What do we got there? Free merch?
A bit of coffee. Well, empty cup of coffee. I'll give the people what they want. I know you guys like me taking screenshots of tweets and putting them on my Instagram page. Will give me a follow at the Pro Wrestling Podcast. And my Twitter, which the handle is right here that you guys so kindly put. Go follow me there. And YouTube. I stream weekly all the time. I stream Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So go check me out there. And I'm on Twitch at the Pro Wrestling Show, not the podcast, because I made the Twitch before I made the podcasting part, and it's just a mess. So go ahead, give me a follow, and
hell yeah. Ivan, let's hear it, brother.
First of all, thank you so much for hosting this incredible UW Pod Pro Wrestling debate. Finally get to sit down with Dave, Kyle, and Keith finally. J-Man, you're the man. I love you, man. Thank you for being here as well. You too, Nick. And share in the comments too, especially TK. You're looking fuego. Of course, Tyler from Counted Out. That's right. And this guy who said I should manage Sing on AEW because I don't know about that.
Yeah,
it is what it is. But thank you very much for having me on. And you can find us at Circle Debate right here at the bottom. You see in the screen on our YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and our Twitter. Find us there. We're supposed to go live today, but unfortunately, circumstances happen. So we'll be having our live show tomorrow. We're normally live every Thursdays and Fridays. And also don't forget the Wrestling DeLorean podcast on our YouTube channel, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And follow them as well at the Wrestling DeLorean podcast on the social media platforms.
I love it.
There you have it.
You
all the love and good vibes of De Niro.
Yes. Prayers for him and Dom. Justin, save the best for last, my brother. Take it away. How can we find you?
First off,
scrummy.
Thank you guys for having me on here. It has been awesome. Ivan, always good to hang out with you and Keith and Nick and finally meet Pro and Kyle. Because, again, I've been listening to Kyle and Pro's show for a while now, and to finally meet them and I guess close enough to in person as it's going to get right here, awesome. So you can follow me only on Twitter. It's all I have right now. I don't need 20,000 different social media platforms. At JustinTime211. In Time Wrestling Podcast. Yes, it is still kind of on a hiatus right now because we've got a lot of personal stuff going on here, kind of killing the vibe to want to make some content, but we will eventually be back. So keep your eyes peeled on Twitter, and Podcast Brothers of Destruction will be serving some content for you.
Yeah. Keith, other than the UW Pod, how can the people find you?
I am on Twitter at Keith of the Ring. I'm also on fucking Hive at Keith of the Ring. Don't go there though, because then everyone will steal your data. So don't go check that one out. I think I'm also Keith of the Ring on Mastodon. I don't even know how to call that one, so definitely don't check that out either. I am also on Instagram at _ Keith of the Ring because some bastard got it before I did, so I have an underscore first. But yeah, I'm mostly active on Twitter. I put stuff on Instagram just for the shows here and everything. But I just post bullshit on Twitter. I got a nice retweet from Steph DeLander, the former Persia Parada, last night because I was on a Wikipedia deep dive and found out her first gimmick was being called Facebook, and she teamed with a guy named Snapchat, and I thought it was the most brilliant thing I'd ever heard in my life. So I shared it. I screenshotted the Wikipedia thing and tagged her, and she quote tweeted it with a picture of herself as Facebook, and it's wonderful. That's what I do. Nonsense.
Well, boys, thank you again. You can find us on Twitter at the UW Pod and Instagram at UW Podcast. Peace.
Yeah, baby. And here it comes.
Thank you for listening to another edition of the Universal Wrestling Podcast.
Slice that blood up and
Check us out on the web at uwpod.com.
You've got mail.
Or send us an email. info@uwpod.com. Universal Wrestling Podcast.
Nobody does it better.